Jiminy, brother, how heavy do you think this glue up is?
Too heavy for us to lift.
We can do the impossible here at the American Woodshop. This is my big brother, John. He was always an inspiration to me as a child, helped me build a tree fort when Dad didn't show up. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Now today, it's all about the harvest table. This is almost 12 feet long and over 200 pounds of just the glue up on the top. Learn how to make your own today on the American Woodshop. Don't go anywhere.
The American Woodshop with Scott Phillips is brought to you by...
Since 1928, Woodcraft has been providing traditional and modern woodworking tools and supplies to generations of craftsmen. Woodcraft, helping you make wood work.
Pro Tools. For tool pros. Rikon Tools.
Woodcraft Magazine. Projects, plans, and web links designed to help you make wood work. P.S. Wood, home of Timberwolf Swedish silicon steel bandsaw blades and super sharp scroll saw blades. A bed to sleep on. A table to share meals. A house that feels like a home. The Furniture Bank of Central Ohio, providing furniture to neighbors in need.
Look at this glued up tabletop for the conference table or harvest table, 12 feet long, 52 inches wide, and the wood is just so beautiful.
Scott, do the boards come like this?
Oh, heck no. They come hit or miss planed and kiln dried, okay? And there's a story there. Back when I was 5 years old, I first went to the log yard where you're about to go and see the entire process of how they make the world's best walnut. Let's head there now. This is why I do this job. We're at heaven if you're into the lumber business. Tom Coble, Vice President at Hartzell Hardwoods, one of the world's leading exporters of wood, truckload quantities only. Okay, behind us, tell us what we're looking at, Tom.
We are looking at stacks and stacks of green white oak. Around the corner is walnut, but this is all lumber that has come in green. We process it, grade it, put it on sticks. It sits in this shed for a period of time where we then put it into a dry kiln later. We dry it, and then we process it, get it ready for shipment to customers.
Okay, now here's what every woodworker on earth needs to know. Moisture content needs to be between 6 to 8% for it not to crack up. So every year this company, check it out, sells millions of board feet of kiln-dried wood. They bring in green wood here. They have how many kilns?
We have 27 kilns here. We have another 9 in Kirksville, Missouri.
And so what's a kiln? Well, it's a steam box, and there are different types of kilns, okay, but these are all steam kilns. And so you run it through cycles on 1 inch thick lumber, walnut.
Yes.
How long does it normally take in a normal kiln to dry it?
Between 2 and 3 weeks. Walnut comes in, by the time we receive it green, put it on sticks and get it through our kiln, it's about a month. An 8/4, 2 inch thick can take up to 3 to 4 to 5 months, depending on a bunch of factors and the time of year and so on and so forth.
So why steam? Why does that dry it?
Yeah, so walnut trees, as you know, the sapwood is very white, the heartwood is very dark. Customers pay a premium for walnut for that really dark chocolate brown heartwood. So the sapwood, when the log is cut into boards, the boards come in here, that sapwood is very light and white. So what we do is we steam it at a very high pressure, and that takes that sapwood and bleeds that heartwood color through the sap and makes it that chocolate brown color as well.
Since I came down here 5 years old with my father, who was head buyer, I learned one thing. Jimmy Hartzell was the guy who kind of perfected the steam process to bleach the color. So the Hartzells have always been innovators. Now we got to look at one area. It's just phenomenal. The next time you go to buy lumber and you think, man, that's expensive, just think of the labor that went into this, from the woods to the trucking to the delivery to the milling to the kiln. I mean, my gosh, the steps are just staggering. Yes. But I will tell you, I've been around this log yard, this business for 63 years. Sure. I started working here when I was 5. I was painting the ends of logs, got paid a nickel a log. I made good money. Okay, so this is in my soul. So when I come back here, I see all these visions of memories, and the way you guys have improved this. Way to go. My hat's off to you. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
It's an honor to be working with people that honor heritage like this. It's an amazing Hartzell business.
Thank you so much.
Hats off. It's so much fun to work with a local company that I have roots with. Thank you, Hartzells. My hat's off to you. Now, look at this glue up. There are 7 boards here that have been kiln dried. Now you know that's 6 to 8%. That way it's a stable glue up. Now wood's going to expand and contract over the course of a year in a humid then dry condition. And so 7 boards right here, if you look, right, long running seams right here. I pre-glued this up and alternated the clamps so the glue up would be flat. I'll set this out of the way. Had some spacer boards there so that I can do the next thing, which is, look at this glue up. Look at these seams. Those are nice and tight. Here's how that happens. The first thing, since these boards are so long, good luck ripping a straight edge on a table saw unless you've got a $20,000 saw. So use a track saw. And a track saw, you can lay a track on a long board, then rip a good straight edge along each side. Once you have the edges ripped straight, those could be used for a glue up, but it's better to take those boards to a big jointer with a big in-feed and out-feed so you can keep that edge flat to the surface of the tables and the board up against the fence. And with feather boards to help hold the board against the fence, and you joint that long edge. And that's how I end up with these beautiful glue seams. And you want to use a good wood glue here, something that's, well, built to last, so pay good money for it. So that's how you do the tabletop glue up. I'll take all the clamps off, but I've got clearance here on top of my work table. And whatever you do, be sure to read, understand, and follow all the instructions that come with the tools and products you use in your wood shop. Work safely. So to that end, hearing protection on, these are safety glasses. Now, what I used is a bow jig, and that's just a piece of oak that flexes, and there's a heavy-duty string back here, and a notch piece turns it into the arc that I need, and I used a white marker and laid out the lines left and right to create a slight oval end on this, and I'll cut this with a jigsaw or saber saw. And the key is buying a heavy-duty bimetal blade. If you look at that, those are carbide teeth on the end, and that's a thicker shank. And we have clearance from the workpiece below, the work table. So now I'm just going to leave the line, cut this out, and then you'll see the profile. This is looking good. Hold this sole flat to the workpiece as you make the cut. Now, there we go. That's all the way off. And I use these auto action clamps to hold it so that way it wouldn't bust out and tear the wood. And that is the perfect smooth arch. And save this pattern now. That becomes a pattern for the other end. That way the arches will be identical. So the next thing to do, setting these aside, out of the way safely, is to sand this. And whatever you do when you sand, wear an N95 dust mask. You don't want to breathe wood dust of any species. Well, that's that. The top is done and sanded to perfection, ready for finish after it's tacked off. Let's talk about the castle joint leg. This joint was first started in Japan on the Imperial Palace around 800 AD, so it's been around a while. And basically, if you take the spacer block out, which is half the thickness of the apron, which is 4 1/4, you can see that kind of looks like the tower on a castle. That's the name. But there's the glue up. A little bit of squeeze out there. And this is down the thickness of the apron, 4 1/4. These work pieces are 30 inches long. So once the table sets on top, that's the conference table height, 31.5 inches. Now to do the glue up, what you do is you end up cutting that middle board to that precise length to allow the apron to slide right in there. And so here we go. We've got excellent work pieces here. And I like to use a really great wood glue that is actually rated for exterior use. It seems to hold up better in moist interiors. There's glue on one side, and I put extra on there, 4 beads up and down, because I know from experience when I put this, marry this onto the baseboard and slide it around, press it together, just like that, I'm sizing the joint and I'm transferring the glue to the other side, and there, just that rub joint, it's ready to stick, ready to clamp. And then the same thing here. Bring that up, and these boards were hit or miss from Hartzell's. Again, the rub joint makes a difference. Rubbing that back and forth, spreading it out, it starts to tack faster. I rotate this up on that silicone pad, get the ends flush, and that first board's already started to stick. And now what I can do is clamp this up, make sure it's square on the ends. That's key. That bar on there. And I'll clamp this up, let it dry, and that's the best way to make the legs. Once the glue up is cured out, remember that one's down 4 1/4 inches, the same width as the apron board, and this is just a block of wood from the apron trim that just barely fits in there. It has to be nice and tight. And I'll rotate that around to this side so you can see the layout, which is very simple. It's just squared up left and right, like so, equal distance on both sides, flush with the top. Needs to go up just a hair. And layout is everything. The joint can't be perfect if your layout's wrong. And the whole idea is with this white marker on the dark walnut, I can see that line and I want to leave that line as I make the cut with a 1/4 inch, 6 TPI, tooth per inch blade, silicone steel. You can only get good cuts if you're using a good blade. Now turn on the dust collector, whittle away this, rotate it around, trim off the end, and then it's on to the apron boards. Let it come up to speed. Okay. Leaving the line. That's perfect. So that's how the castle part of the castle joint is formed. Now we need 4 aprons. 2 short, that's what you see here, and 2 long. And the notches are reversed on the long ones. And you can use a jigsaw for that because it'd be ungainly, but I can cut this out on the bandsaw. And so have the layout done. So that's 4 inches in from each curve on the end, identical curves. So once I get that cut out and sanded, then it's time to do the assembly of the legs to the apron. So let's get this going here. First cut off the curves, leave the line. These aprons are 9 feet long, 4 1/4 wide, 1 3/8 thick, and the whole idea, without knocking anything over, is to line them up so you can slide the cross aprons in, and the notch of the bottom apron locks in to the notch, the reverse notch of this apron, like so. But I have to get the other apron, long-running apron in. And this is a test of your coordination. Curve down, because quite frankly, this requires some grace and a bit of luck. Off you go. Okay, that's good right there. And then that's down like that. I know from experience, the persuader is always a nice thing to have, just to do the technical tap to get everything seated properly. That looks pretty good right there. No sawdust in the joint. Oh, let's see. Nope, I know I've got to swing this around like that. Best side is out. I have that marked. And now, the moment of truth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice and tight. 1, 2. 2 taps right there on the tassel joint. Let's see if we get that lucky on the back. Here we go. We want the best face out. That's that. When you do have defects in lumber, use it. Just plan it so that it's hidden on the inside. Okay, and that is a rock solid assembly. Now you go, but how are you going to lift this by yourself? I'm not. I use these ratchets, the straps, and pipe clamps, just a pipe, to raise this, 4 of these, off the rafters. So I'm going to clear all of this off from underneath and then bring the apron up and under. So that looks really good, and that's rock solid. But let me show you one other thing that you need to understand, and that is these corner braces have pocket holes, heavy duty 1/2-inch pocket holes for these heavy duty wood screws, number 10s, with a washer. And the way this is designed, this actually goes on that side, just like that, so that the slot is perpendicular to the side rails, so that when this is screwed in from below, look at what happens. It allows the wood top to expand and contract. So the idea is, it's summertime, it's moist now, the wood is expanded like a sponge, it does that, as much as it can be. It's at the end of summer. So it's going to start shrinking down. As it shrinks, that screw moves with the wood. That allows for expansion and contraction. So I'll get these all put in, and I'll show you how to cut the miter and how to do the pocket holes. Let's get set up for that. There you have it. Now that's how you cut the 45-degree angles for the miter that go into the pocket hole jig. And since this is drilling, I'm getting this stuff off. And this 45 is flat to the jig, and the jig is clamped to plywood. Boy, that bit, the 1/2-inch bit, that's a bear, but that's what it takes for these heavy-duty screws. So here we go. That's how you cut the pockets, and it just nibs through so that the cutting tip of that bit goes right into the side rails. Now, this is important. You see this slot and how that's made? When this is braced in, over here you can see the table, and to the apron, These slots are designed so that the wood, when it expands and contracts across the grain, about 1/16 of an inch per foot of glue up, that screw will be positioned right in the center so that it allows room for movement. And the way to make that, the easy way, is to use a 1/4 inch drill bit, brad point, and do it this way. You drill one hole right in the center of your layout line. You want 3 slots per corner brace. And once you have your one hole drilled, then you drill 2 more, 1 on each side. And it helps to have 2-inch foam board underneath so that when you punch all the way through the other side, you don't mar your work surface. And there are a bunch of different ways you could cut these, but this is the easiest way. Now you see the little bit of wood between holes? You go back into the center one and you use the bit, like a router bit, and that creates the slot. It's not fancy, but it works. So I'm going to get all the braces ready this way, and we'll install them and get ready to do the final assembly. When I'm using these heavy-duty wood screws, 2.5 inches long, I just want to drill with a 1/8 inch bit or a 3/16 into this mating piece so it doesn't split out and it taps and drives this piece in nice and secure in location. Just like that. And I can swap this out now. The square drive goes to a 6-way drive because now that the legs are square in the castle joint, I need to dimple this with a 7/8 bit. Just enough, boy, that walnut's hard, so that this is flush when you do the next step. Drill a nice deep pilot hole all the way down to lock up this assembly. No glue here, but this heavy-duty 6-inch long construction fastener nice and snug. Now that's ready to do to all 4 corners, so everything is ready to be slid in place. And you know those mover discs that you put under furniture? That's what I used double-sided tape to put onto the bottom of these 4 legs, so there's no damage whatsoever to the wooden post. Okay, that's awesome. Now I'll get this all lined up and ease it down, centered, screw it in the way that allows the wood to move, and then it's on to finishing. But today is done, finishing tomorrow. Be back in a few seconds. Now this is always a nerve-wracking moment. This is Wilson, and you make the best chocolates on the planet, and this will be your boardroom table. Is it what you want?
It is absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to get it in the conference room and get to work.
Okay, well, you guys work hard, and this will be showcased through a huge plate glass window every day as I drive down Main Street. How cool is that to see my biggest work so far beyond the boat I restored?
Wow.
So you have that distinction.
Quite an honor.
Okay, now try to lift it. Okay, so we can barely lift it. This is a 4-person lift, so this is all tacked off and ready for the finish, and you'll see more on that next week, because that's a big project and we're out of time today. But can we tour your chocolate factory the next time when we deliver this next week?
You are welcome in there anytime.
I want on the line.
With an invitation or without, and sometimes you come in without one anyways.
Well, there's that. Thank you, Wilson.
Thank you, Scott.
Glad you like it. That makes me feel so good. Well, that's it. See you next time in the American Woodshop. Yeah, this is built to last.
Since 1928, Woodcraft has been providing traditional and modern woodworking tools and supplies to generations of craftsmen. Woodcraft, helping you make wood work.
Pro Tools. For tool pros. Rikon Tools.
Woodcraft Magazine. Projects, plans, and web links designed to help you make wood work. PS Wood, home of Timberwolf Swedish silicon steel bandsaw blades and super sharp scroll saw blades. A bed to sleep on. A table to share meals. A house that feels like a home. The Furniture Bank of Central Ohio, providing furniture to neighbors in need.
For more information about the American Woodshop, you can watch free episodes 24/7 on our website, and you can find us on these social media platforms.